The phenomenon of Russia's population decline began in the mid-20th century and has persisted into the present day, significantly impacting its demographics, economy, and social structures. The earliest known trigger was the implementation of forced labor, mobilization during World War II, which led to a temporary reduction in Russian women's fertility rates as many young adults were conscripted for military service or other national emergency. This early demographic shift had a lasting effect on Russia's population trajectory, with ongoing declines becoming evident by the late 1960s and early 1970s. When government policies aimed at increasing birth rates began to show limited success in reversing declining fertility rates. Over time, multiple factors contributed to this trend. The most significant contributors were the economic reforms of the 1990s, which led to a severe recession and widespread poverty, resulting in lower life expectancy and higher mortality rates among both men and women, particularly those in rural areas with less access to healthcare services. This period also saw increased migration out of Russia as individuals sought better opportunities elsewhere, further exacerbating population decline. In contrast, the early 21st century brought some positive changes with improvements in healthcare infrastructure, though these benefits were not immediately felt by all segments of society due to uneven distribution and funding disparities. Additionally, rising incomes and standard of living contributed to a reduction in family size, as well as changing societal norms influencing reproductive choices. Despite efforts towards population stabilization through targeted government initiatives such as increased subsidies for families with multiple children and healthcare improvements, Russia continues to face challenges from persistently low birth rates coupled with higher mortality rates. By 2019, the country had one of the lowest natural growth rates globally, at approximately 0.6%, reflecting this complex interplay between social factors and economic conditions. The effects of these demographic shifts have been profound, affecting Russia's workforce composition, labor market dynamics, and overall economic performance. For instance, by 2017, about 48% of the Russian population was age 50 or older, a stark contrast to younger cohorts that are increasingly underrepresented in Russia's workforce due to higher mortality rates among those in their prime working years. This demographic imbalance has contributed to increased pension burdens and inflationary pressures, as evidenced by rising healthcare costs for an aging population. However, some argue that targeted immigration policies could help offset these challenges, though such strategies remain controversial given ongoing geopolitical tensions and existing national sentiment towards foreigner integration. As of 2021, Russia's migration policy allowed approximately 5% of the total population to enter annually, but this figure may need further exploration for sustainable long-term solutions. Looking ahead into the decade leading up to 2050, projected changes in fertility rates, mortality levels, and international migration patterns will continue to influence Russia's demographic landscape. While current efforts towards stabilizing its population face significant obstacles due to structural issues within Russian society, continued focus on healthcare improvements, economic reform, and targeted immigration strategies may help mitigate the worst effects of this decline. Future scenarios suggest that if successful policies are implemented in tandem with social reforms aimed at increasing birth rates, Russia could see gradual stabilization or slight increases by 2050. However, without significant intervention, these trends will likely persist, posing substantial challenges for sustaining economic growth and maintaining a stable workforce.